Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, it's morphin time. Please put your hands together for Jason, David, Frank. Hey, how you doing?
Hello, everybody.
Are you well, Jason?
How you guys doing over there?
Very good, thanks. And yourself?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me today.
That's awesome. Dude, I'm such a fan of yours. It's a pleasure speaking to you right now.
It's nice to speak to you guys, too. Sorry you couldn't make it this year, but I'm happy you guys got this going on. So everyone watching, thanks for tuning in. I posted it on my page there as well, so I appreciate you guys and your hospitality.
Right.
Hospitality.
Right. Look, man, I'm such a fan of yours. I remember watching you as a kid. I'm sure you're at the stage now where you have grown men coming up to you, telling you how much you influenced them as a kid. Because, like, I literally had posters of you on my wall. I had a poster of the green Power Ranger and the white Power Ranger.
Nice. Yeah, sometimes people ask, who do I prefer, the green or the white Ranger? And I was both, so I feel like I don't have to pick.
Right.
But it's certainly a great feeling. You're all growing up now. But the thing about Tommy Oliver, what's special about my character is that I went back to Dino Thunder. I've done all the reunions. I've done a lot of Bat in the Sun stuff. So I just feel that there's generations of people. You got the 3-year-olds and 25-year-olds, 30-year-olds. I've done cameos for so many older people, even into the ages of 55. So I'm pretty happy about that.
Damn, that's awesome. What was your initial reaction when you were given the scripts of the Power Rangers back then?
That was something. That was a persistence and dedication to get the role. It was something that I went after. A lot of actors, especially the newer ones that started, kind of, I feel, started a #1 TV show, so it was a lot easier for them to come on board. We started from scratch. I mean, we started where the world didn't even know what Power Rangers was, so we had to work a little harder to make that happen. But it was pretty exciting to get the role. It was something that I kind of went after. Went to an agency, and it was just a long story. Ended up trying to be really persistent to get that role, and it happened to be Power Rangers, and I got the role. And nobody believed in the show except the producers and the fans and you kids. And then some of the Rangers left, and it was a #1 show, so it was pretty easy to come on to a #1 show. But it was hard. It was a hard grind for the originals, but we made it happen. You made it happen. I was pretty excited about that, so I'm happy.
When getting the role, did you have to showcase your acting talent as well as your martial arts?
Well, yeah. I mean, as far as acting, it was pretty easy, a pretty easy role. I was a real martial artist at the time. What I mean by that is I was the one to hold rank. And I think that's why Steve Cardenas got the role as well, is that he held official karate rank. And so it was really easy. I used to compete around the world. I was already a 3rd, 4th degree black belt at the time.
Oh, wow.
So in Hollywood, there was a lot of people, a lot of actors that I think they know karate, but it was a really easier audition for me because I was always winning first place in tournaments. So this was no different. Did a little acting and then performed. It was and then a lot of actors came in afterwards that knew a little karate, but maybe he wasn't officially ranked. And Steve is, though. Steve is even a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So.
When Power Rangers came out when I was a kid, we actually started karate classes at our school just because Power Rangers had become such a big thing. And the kids, both girls and boys, just wanted to get involved in some sort of martial arts. Was there any TV program or movie that inspired you to get into it as a kid?
Well, it was. I think. Sorry, I'm just staring at myself.
It's all good.
Got 2 pictures of myself here. Doing obviously the karate and the Bruce Lee and all that stuff. It kind of inspired me a little bit.
Right. And with the rest of the cast.
Now I can see you. I prefer that if you don't mind. I got 2 pictures. I'm looking at myself and it's distracting. But anyway, I know you have to do it for the show. So,
So look, did you get along with the cast from the beginning? How was that working relationship? Because there's
Oh,
5 of you guys, and you all were pretty young. How did you guys manage with each other?
it was great. I mean, it was Angel Grove. I mean, I thought everyone got along. Obviously, there was some different age groups that started. We weren't all the same age, but everyone got along. I was the new guy. I don't know how people felt about that. I was never there to be the leader. I was there just to be Tommy Oliver for 15 episodes, and then I ended up being the leader. It was something that I didn't ask for. It was just something that was presented at that time. 3 of them decided to leave the show, I guess, to better the show, but I was already happy. I was filming a TV show. I was young. Put it this way, I would have done the movie. I would have done the TV series for free. I had businesses. Acting for me, just like Comic-Cons, is a hobby. It's not a job. So I
Right.
looked at it a little differently, I think, than most people.
Oh, that's cool. So you just had fun on sets, I guess.
Just had fun. That's what I think. That's what life is all about, is fun. That's why Comic-Cons as well. I
Right.
think doing Comic-Cons, this stuff is just fun. Even when I was asked to come over there to South Africa, first thing I thought about was great. I get to meet the people. I don't get a chance to walk around or see a lot of stuff when I'm at Comic-Cons, but the feel of just being, into a different country and giving back thanks to people like everyone over there who watch the show. A lot of people travel just in the U.S., and I like to travel international because Power Rangers was like an international show, and I think that was something that was really special to me, that it played everywhere around the world. So I try to give back to everybody around the world. That's why I try traveling a lot.
Totally. Look, Jason, we have so many fan questions. Do you mind? Do you mind answering
Yep.
some?
Sure, man. Let's do it.
A guy by the name of Jason says that when Tommy left the show, he was so upset that he protested and didn't go to school for a week. How did you take it when you were no longer on the show?
That is 100% absolute truth. People around the world know it's the truth. They put a protest ticket. Kids were writing into Fox. Parents were calling into Fox. Kids would not go to school. Kids would not eat. It was one of those things where I think the studio was like, it's a liability.
Right.
It now becomes a liability. So they had to bring Tommy back because of awesome fans like Jason and everyone else. When I lost my powers, I was ready to move on to my own show called VR Troopers. There was a stage right next to Power Rangers, and they asked me if I want to do my own TV show. And there was a little drama with, new cast, old cast leaving. So I said, yes, I would love to do it. Just kind of move on and be VR Troopers. But it became a liability. It wasn't like, oh, let's bring Jason back. It was a protest back then to bring Tommy Oliver back. It really was. So it's crazy, Jason, that you say that is because Fox was flooded full of calls saying the same exact thing that he just said.
But that's amazing. That's amazing to affect kids at such a level.
I know. Losing the powers was a sad thing. I mean, it was a sad thing for a lot of fans out there.
Do your kids know how much of a superhero their dad is?
Yeah. I mean, Jenna does. She's 16, so she'll. There was a stage of I'm just a regular guy though. I've always maintained that regular guy type of thing. Even at Comic-Cons, I try to stay really humble. In this business, your head can get really big. Then you can move on to other things. Then you could disappear from the brand and reappear. I've been part of the brand from day one, been proud of who I was. That's why I went back to Dino Thunder. Long story short, there was a period in time where kids loved it, and then they went to high school, and they loved it, but they hid it in high school.
Yes.
And then now it's cool. So Jenna's friends, she'll FaceTime me and be like, hey, look, this is my dad. And they're like, oh, the Green Ranger is because I'm probably the only character that has different generations because of Dino Thunder,
Right.
Super Ninja Steel, Mega Force. So it's amazing. Like I'll get cameos from 3-year-olds to 55-year-olds, literally. And, from me talking to a 3-year-old to me talking to a 55-year-old. So, but it's amazing, and it's been a blessing, and to be different parts of people's generation.
Right. We have another question from another fan. This is a question from Ryan asking, are you excited to see what Power Rangers has become after your generation started it all?
I'm very excited. I think now that Hasbro owns it, I think there's a big delay in content, especially now with the virus going on. But that's the reason why I've moved on to Legend of the White Dragon. It's a whole new universe. People are flipping out over it. I just got done posting. Aniki, who does the same Power Ranger suits, just completed the Legend of the White Dragon suits. It's just, it's a mind-blowing concept. We're already funded. We're starting to shoot in November. And this way we have content, and we have a lot of people looking at it, including big networks, TV series, and all that stuff. So I'm really excited for that to come out because it's for your age group, but it's also safe for the kids. A little kid can watch it. When I say PG-13, you don't need the cuss words. Just keep it clean for the kids. And so that's what we're doing with the Legend of the White Dragon. Now, as far as new content with Power Rangers, I don't see any. I hope there is. I know the first movie they tried, then they ended up getting rid of the whole cast. They ended up firing everyone, and then they ended up selling the brand. So I hope Hasbro does do something. But in the meantime, it's going to be a very long time just because what's been going on. And I'm happy to say that we got that Legend of the White Dragon. It's already taken off, and we're starting to film in November. So I'm really happy and blessed to have that.
Oh, that's awesome. Were there ever injuries on the set of Power Rangers with all the fight scenes?
I've had some injuries. I've been very blessed not to. I think a lot of injuries came from most of the stunt guys. Yeah. The stunt guys were really great. I've always had good control and good focus, and that's something as a karate guy. I'm an A3 black belt now, and back then it's always important to have focus and know your distance. So I think a lot of actors, there was a lot of accidents because maybe the depth perception was off, or maybe they weren't used to doing karate. But I've been fortunate not to have a lot of injuries. I can't really recall some, maybe some pulled muscles here and there, but not a lot of injuries. The stunt guys, yes, because they work very hard for us. I mean, we could do this, and they flip, and they crash into trees, and so yeah, that was something that more or less on the stunt guys, because they sacrificed their bodies to make us look good.
Right. We have another question from one of your fans.
Okay.
Look, all the fans are saying that you are their favorite Power Ranger and want to know, would you be able to come to Comic-Con Africa next year?
I just inboxed you all, and I know I was supposed to come this year. Don't know really how it works, but I'm happy to roll over the same thing that I just did now, so I'm happy to come.
Oh, that's awesome.
I was originally supposed to be there before. I know South Africa did whatever they could to get me there. I'm happy just to take that deal and roll it over. And, I'm not too sure how that works, but I just inboxed them and said, hey, bring me to South Africa. You guys already took care of everything. I know this trying to take this in place of real life appearances, it's not the same. So I offered just to come next year just for the same thing. And, so I didn't know how the virtual works. I thought it was just a little addition to pump up my appearance next year. So hopefully I can be there next year if you guys have one.
Okay, cool. So we'll see you next year then, Jason.
Okay, then. All right, that sounds good. I inboxed you. I'm going to hold you to your word.
How many times in a day do you hear Morphin Time?
Every time I say, what time is it to people, and they're about to tell me the time, I say, it's Morphin Time. So that's like my joke with everybody. Jenna, she'll roll her eyes, almost everybody. So I've been saying that because I think it's a little funny. Derek Thieler, who played, I did a show called Ninjak versus the Valiant Universe with Bat in the Sun, and I played Bloodshot, and he was Man Exo War, and we were walking down the street, and an older lady, way past our generation, way past the Power generation, said to me and Derek, excuse me, do you know what time it is? And I said, it's Morphin Time. And she looked at me like, what in the world is going on? And me and Derek, I thought that was so funny, man. We laughed almost all day long. She obviously didn't get the joke, but yeah, quite a bit now, if you ask me what time it is.
Right. But it's so cool that you embrace it because it's such a big thing. Morphin time was
It
thrown.
is.
It was used like in every situation in life. It was like morphin time.
Yep. And it's funny because I look back on the generations. I've always embraced Power Rangers, man. I went back to Dino Thunder when Disney owned it, and it was just the ratings were falling. I was probably the only Ranger, and then people say it's your favorite. I was the only Ranger to jump in any spot and say, I'll do it for free. I don't care. Mega Force, I'll do it for free. Ninja Steel, I don't care about the money. It comes down to money when people aren't in stuff. And that's why the Legend of the White Dragon, we have a lot of people, even though, I mean, King Batch is a crazy guy. He's got 21 million followers. He's done 15 Netflix shows. He's like, yeah, I want to be in Legend of the White Dragon and pretty much work for nothing. That's the kind of stuff that we want. And so I've been the longest, I think, just because it's been a hobby.
Right.
So I've always made fans happy by going back. Anytime they asked me to go back, boom, I was there, and I was happy to go back.
Do you still fight like with martial arts? Are you still fighting on the side?
Oh yeah, man. Well, that's my full time. That's my full time. I would say hobby, job. I mean, I got schools, thousands of students. It was something that was like I've done my whole entire life. I'm an entrepreneur. That's why anything extra, like when I say on the side or do something, I have to do it for fun.
Right.
Because if I'm not doing it for fun, I don't want this to become a job and your questions and my answers to be like, it becomes a job. I'm really active on social media, Facebook, Instagram, you name it. I'm really active on it, and it's something that I just love. So as far as training all the time, it's like a job. I got to train all the time. I got a lot of instructors to teach. I got a lot of students, and it's something that I did before and something I did after. But the point of Power Rangers, the man behind the mask has always been the same. I've always been passionate. No matter what time period in my life, you will never see me disappear from the brand. As a person, there's a lot of people that disappear. There are a lot of people now that done Power Rangers that are just gone. Maybe they come back to Comic-Cons. Maybe they come back for different reasons. I was back when the brand was nothing. And I'll continue to stay there and pump up the brand. It's just right now, like I said, there's nothing going on. That's why fans are saying, hey, what are we doing next? And I'm like, That's why I came up with the Legend of the White Dragon. It's amazing. I mean, it's really amazing. And the fans' translation it's not Power Rangers, but it's so similar that it feeds the appetite. Right. And it makes fans really happy. And I just want to make fans happy. That's why I've always stepped back to the brand and never asked one question, how much money are you going to pay me? That shows dedication and loyalty that I've remained part of that brand my whole entire life, because those words never came out of my mouth.
Right. You got such a positive outlook into life. And I wanted to know, like, with everything happening, so many people have been spending so much time alone at home. And I'm sure you haven't seen your students for 6 months. Is there any words of advice or encouragement that you have for people?
Well, I tell you, man, I've seen my students. I've been active. I'm right now in Tennessee in the middle of a Harley Davidson bike tour. I created a program because I used to do a lot of cons. I created a program called PPP, which obviously was from the government, called Payroll Protection Program. I figured I'm a Power Ranger, and how can I protect comic books and toys? So I came up with this social media distancing thing. It's almost like an app. And I'm saving comic book shops. I'm going there for free. I'm raising money. I'm donating. I'm leaving about $5,000 stuff behind so people can buy it. So I've been traveling around the world, and hundreds of people show up, but you show up, you get a number, you disappear. It's kind of like when you wait for a table. Hey man, go do what you want, and when the buzzer goes, you'll come and you'll get to come and meet JDF. So that has been something I've been doing for 2 months, and I've met thousands of people, all in a social distancing, safer way than going to a supermarket, safer way than getting gas. And it's been tremendous. The comic shops are really happy. And I've been able to see my students, and I'm trying to stay positive. I'm saying that there's always a way out of something. There's always something positive in a negative situation. Don't fall into the negativity of, this ain't never going to happen. I'm never going to see my students. I'm never going to see my fans. I'm the first person doing it because I'm giving. Because it's one of those things where I'll call a shop and say, hey, I'm showing up for free, and I'm going to leave you thousands of dollars behind and give you some money. How does that sound? And the shop owners are like, what? And it doesn't matter what I leave with. Yeah. It matters of meeting people. And we've had hundreds of people show up. So it's almost like a Comic-Con within a comic book shop that can't afford to buy a booth at a Comic-Con.
That's awesome.
So it's been really amazing. So I would tell everyone out there and encourage everyone is right now, be creative. Find your outlet, find your passion, and do it. They said Power Rangers wouldn't be anything. We wouldn't be popular. The show will be nothing. And I believed in it, and I did it. And now all the other actors that are hired were hired on the #1 kids show in the world. That is cool. That's something that's like something we've built, something that people should enjoy. And Power Rangers is still on to this day.
Right.
It's been on the air for 27 years.
That's crazy.
It is crazy.
Wow. You look very good for your age, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I just turned 47.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Thank you so much.
We have another question. We have one last question from a fan.
Yeah.
Would you ever consider opening a dojo in Africa?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I definitely would. It's funny because this whole virus thing came out. And now everyone's going online thinking, maybe I should do this, maybe I should do that. We're celebrating 6 years of an online training program called trainmejdf.com. It's a virtual training. I have all my black belt curriculum. You can't get a black belt on it, but you can get familiar with the moves. And that takes more dedication than going to a karate school. So I have hundreds of people, of students around the world from a program that was created way before being mandated and quarantined at home. So that's available to you at your fingertips. It's something that's really fun. But yes, I would have to find the right people. I'm not a sellout. It takes 6 years to reach a level of black belt, if not more, and there's not one testing fee. You don't have to pay any testing fees for any belt. I show up at the black belt testing, could be anywhere from 4 hours to 12 hours. So it's really important to me when I sign a black belt certificate that it has roots, it has meaning, and that's why when I talk to Chuck Norris, we're like the same rank. And Chuck was like, you're going to be the next me. I never forgot what he said. Do you understand what that meant from Chuck Norris? I told Chuck, there could never be another you. And Chuck told me one thing. His career gave me hope. But yeah, online training is available. And I think it's a good way to start. It's already been there. A lot of people are doing this stuff now. I was way ahead of the curve because I think at home training, you can do karate anywhere you want. You just have to, you have to be dedicated. You have to be dedicated to tune in YouTube. You have to be dedicated to watch do you have to be dedicated to watch this? I mean, it takes dedication to watch. It's easy to watch, but it's hard to get up and throw a jab. So let's not be a looky-loo. Let's get up and let's train and throw your punches and move and understand what karate's all about. That's what you have to do on this program. And it's been there for 6 years.
Damn. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for giving us your time. I'm really honored to have spoken to you.
Yeah, me too, buddy. I appreciate it.
Thank you. The fans are going crazy in the chat. Thank you so much. This meant a lot to everyone. And we cannot wait to see you next year for Comic-Con Africa 2021.
I will be. It'll be so much more and so much greater. And I do want to be there, so I look forward to it. And that's what I wanted to tell you guys online. I just inboxed you and said, hey, I hope I can still come because I want to meet the fans in person.
Right.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Jason. Really appreciate it. We'll see you actually tomorrow on Facebook at 5 p.m.
Yes, sir.
5 p.m. outside.
Tomorrow. Okay, buddy.
Ladies and gentlemen, there was Jason David Frank. And look, we're closing for the day, but we'll see you at 7 o'clock for the quiz with Zaid, and I'll see you guys tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Peace and love.